I keep having the same dream. Everywhere I look, people are being replaced. The last time I had the dream, I was walking down the school hallway. And that's when I started to notice that something's wrong. Everyone I cared about has been systematically replaced. Why are they replacing every single character with someone who is diverse? It's like, it's not our fault, it's because of Kathleen Kennedy. But then Kathleen Kennedy says, put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more f***ing. And if Bob Iger is not like, it's gonna be like that.
Eric, it's okay. Okay.
Nah. I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, only this time, it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy. Will you check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there?
I promise there's not.
I'm scared, Mom. Will you please just look and make sure
You know how South Park is. They're never shy about stirring the pot. In their latest episode, they're poking fun at Disney by flipping the script, swapping the races and genders of characters like it's all a game. They're pretty much saying, look, Disney is just mixing things up to show they're all about diversity, but South Park is calling it out and turning it into a joke. Now, let's talk about Disney going all woke. It feels like every new movie has to tick off some diversity checklist, different races here, new genders there, all in the name of empowerment. But at what cost? Classic films like Snow White and The Little Mermaid are getting a complete makeover, and not everyone is thrilled about it. Imagine watching Snow White and barely recognizing the story you grew up with. That's what's got some people questioning if Disney is losing its way while trying to stay current.
To come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. When I tell you that it's hard, I just mean to be inside my brain. And I'm there 24/7, I can't get out of it.
As a huge Disney fan like all of you, this is the biggest dream come true I could possibly imagine for myself. Thank you all for making it possible and being excited.
Rachel, this is your second film.
I know.
How do you describe that experience?
Oh, it's so weird and like not okay. No pun intended, lightning struck twice for me. I feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
It is just ridiculous. I can't believe this is my life. I can't every day.
17 years old, a junior in high school. You send in this casting tape, and then you're cast as Maria.
I got it. I'm like looking around and there's this huge poster of my face and I'm like, who is that? I still can't process any of it.
I am the most grateful person alive, but I'm also keeping it.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 17 years when I was doing this.
It's just the weirdest thing, but it always happens to me, and I always have to just pretend that I don't always spend my time here. I swear to God.
Is that your favorite ride? I mean, that's a weird thing that you are Snow White now.
I mean,
wow.
It's one of the original. I'm a really big Disney fan. I grew up at the Disney parks. My parents took me every summer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
so it's like, it's a part of my upbringing. It's my favorite thing.
It's not making a Snow White film. So the only possible reason that they still make a Snow White film is to do everything they can to destroy the memory of the original film and ruin it like every other franchise they've touched. Now, for Disney, as you probably remember, all of this publicity, the Zegler interviews, the Daily Mail leak, caused a lot of unexpected, for them anyway, pre-production problems. People weren't supposed to see and understand just how unwatchable the new Snow White was going to be. It was supposed to be, kind of a surprise, but now there was no hiding it.
Nothing has brought me greater joy than watching the Walt Disney Company absolutely panic over the last few weeks. They're mad at South Park because they're making fun of their woke ideologies, constantly race swapping or religion swapping.
Let's not overlook the big changes in the Snow White movie. They've moved away from the classic love story in favor of a more feminist approach. Don't get me wrong, empowering women is important, but many fans are confused about why the romance, which was central to so many people's memories of Snow White, had to be removed. This shift has sparked a lot of debate. Traditional fans who loved the original are feeling sidelined, wondering if the movie is even recognizable anymore. They're asking if it's so different, is it still really Snow White?
About Rachel Zegler for a moment. She's an actress who did star in the remake of West Side Story by Steven Spielberg. And she's recently been fired from Disney's remake Snow White that she was starring in. Rachel has been problematic really since the beginning of her career.
I've been told by a number of different people that this human being might be the worst or best, from some perspective, at breaking on set.
Yes.
I'm gonna say only Jack Dylan Grazer said that. Because if Zachary Levi said that, he just learned that yesterday. And he never. So he's a liar. Print that.
Not only on set, rumors of her behavior and how unlikable she was to work with, but also you can see that privilege and personality come out in some of the interviews.
First, she made headline news and pissed off every angry blog because she was seen as unbecoming for getting the leading role in Snow White in the live action, only to often voice how much she hates the original.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. Weird.
Second, people said she came across as arrogant, ungrateful, and out of touch when she was asked on the red carpet for Shazam, a Marvel film, why she wanted to be a part of the Marvel Universe so bad. She just needed a job.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job.
Third, people say she seems very self-serving with this cropped, very viral video of her talking about the strike.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
People say she forgot about the smaller people in the film industry.
Breaking news, Rachel Zegler is worse than we thought. And she's turning many people against her new Snow White remake with a whole string of horrible, pompous interviews. Like, at first I was biting my tongue about this whole thing because I'm like, it's kind of weird that they, hired someone who isn't white to play Snow White. But now she's literally admitted to watching the old Snow White movie, like the original Disney film, and she said she didn't even like it. What? And she called Prince Charming a stalker and a weirdo. So you're telling me Disney hired this person to be Snow White? She's not white. She hates the story. She thinks the story was weird and stalkerish. And then Disney recasts all the dwarves into the 7 they thems. I don't care if you're on the left or the right, how could anyone before this movie, it makes no sense to me. I honestly don't even know why this movie is called Snow White anymore. It makes no sense. It has nothing to do with their story. The dwarves aren't in it. Snow White isn't white. The person playing Snow White hates the story. I mean, it makes no sense to me. I've really been trying to give this movie the benefit of the doubt, honestly. But how could anyone want to watch this movie when she herself said that the old Snow White movie and everything made her sick and she didn't like it? And if your main character doesn't even like her own story, then why watch it?
There's a big reason why so many people are turned off by Rachel Zegler's attitude and behavior. I think it's because it's reminiscent of this. I'm not saying that she's a mean girl in real life, but that attitude usually is something that people associate with mean girls in real life. The cattiness, the smugness. At the same time, I also think that it's just because she's a theater kid, so the way she acts makes sense and she just needs PR training. But anyway, I think people are just so done with the mean girl persona, it's not funny. It's a major turnoff.
Rumors are swirling around now that Disney is canceling the Snow White remake, or they're hiring a new actress to replace Rachel Zegler after backlash against the comments that she made about the movie.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
There's absolutely no way whatsoever that is going to happen. We've already seen reports that Disney has already spent over $200 million on this movie, and most of it's already shot. There is no way they can afford not to release this movie, nor can they afford to reshoot the movie with a new lead actress.
I think this movie should be canceled. Hot take, I know. I was so excited, but I refuse. I refuse for Rachel Zegler to go on this press tour. She just got out of hot water.
Rachel Zegler's Hollywood career is now hanging by a thread as Disney takes drastic measures to erase her from the Snow White project. The same studio that once hailed her as the future of their live-action films has now stripped her of any creative influence. In a shocking move, Disney not only pulled the plug on the 3 songs Zegler personally wrote and performed, but they also decided to exclude her from promotional events entirely. This isn't just a small setback. It's a full-scale career takedown. Critics are already calling it one of the most public humiliations for a rising star in recent memory. Zegler, once celebrated for her bold takes and outspoken attitude, is now facing consequences for those very qualities. Was her insistence on rewriting Snow White with a more modern vision the final straw for Disney? Or is this just the studio throwing her under the bus to salvage itself after a series of PR disasters? What was supposed to be her breakout moment has turned into a public implosion of epic proportions. Is Zegler the victim of her own hubris? Or is Disney using her as a scapegoat for their own mistakes? Either way, one thing is clear, Zegler's once promising career may now be on life support, and Hollywood is watching closely to see if she can ever recover from this devastating blow.
And cheerfully together we can tidy up the place. So I'm married to it won't take long. There's a song that we set the pace.
Disney's decision to cut 3 of Rachel Zegler's self-written songs from the Snow White project is nothing short of a brutal public takedown, sending shockwaves through Hollywood. These weren't just any songs. They were supposed to be her shining moment, a chance to showcase her creative talents beyond acting. But after test audiences reportedly labeled them as abysmal, Disney didn't hesitate to remove them from the film entirely. What was once a bold reinvention of Snow White is now unraveling in front of everyone. Disney, once eager to champion Zegler's fresh take on the character, is now scrambling to distance itself from what's become a disaster. Critics are saying that this move is a clear message. Zegler's creative input wasn't just bad, it was catastrophic. To have her contributions yanked after test screenings shows how far Disney is willing to go to salvage the film. It's almost unheard of for a lead actress's work, written in collaboration with big-name filmmakers like Greta Gerwig, to be completely erased from a project. It feels like Disney is trying to scrub any trace of Zegler's influence from the film in a desperate attempt to clean up the mess. Insiders say the test audience feedback was scathing, with some calling Zegler's performances cringeworthy and out of place. For an actress who once boasted about reshaping the iconic character, this rejection is even harder to swallow. What was meant to be a bold reinvention of Snow White, complete with a warrior persona and modern themes, has been met with widespread disdain, leaving Disney no choice but to wipe the slate clean. This isn't just about a few songs. It's a public rejection of Zegler's entire vision for the character. The fact that these cuts came just before reshoots suggests that Disney is taking no prisoners in their effort to salvage what's left of this sinking ship. Some are calling this one of the most embarrassing creative failures of Zegler's young career, raising serious doubts about whether she has the chops to lead a major Hollywood franchise. Zegler now stands as the poster child for when creative risks backfire in the most humiliating way possible. After years of working on this project, Snow White is finally nearing its return to the big screen. Disney unveiled the first trailer for the film at D23 on Friday, ahead of its March 21st, 2025 release date, but whether audiences will be ready for Zegler's version of the character remains to be seen.
Start to look for you. So Disney just announced that they're going to be delaying the Snow White remake for an entire year. The movie was set to be released on March 22nd, 2024, and now we're looking at a release date of March 21st, 2025. I don't know, but to me, this delay just kind of sounds like one of the two options. We just need to give everybody a bit more time to forget how Rachel Zegler irrationally feels about the story and main character that she's supposed to be portraying. Or we really thought we had something, but now we've realized that we actually don't know what the hell we're doing. And that last one's going to make a little bit more sense when you see what I'm about to show you next. Along with this news about the delay, Disney also released an update about the dwarves. This. Ew! Now hear me out. I do think this is 10 times better than the 7 diversity hires we were going to get originally. But it's the fact that this whole thing started with, we don't want to stereotype little people, so we're just not going to hire them. And then it turned into, wait, you guys don't like our progressive college university cast? What do you want? And now we have this ugly ass CGI fest just so they can avoid hiring little people. It's just getting sad at this point. But to give them the benefit of the doubt, I will admit that this is 10 times better than this. However, 10 times 0 is still 0.
Exclusive. Branding experts warn that Rachel Zegler backlash could ruin Disney's big-budget Snow White remake and predict executives will be having crisis talks in order to win back fans ahead of the 2024 release. Rachel Zegler has been running amok and talking all about this new role that she will be playing as Snow White and how it has been reimagined.
It's no longer 1937.
And people are pissed, right? Because she's playing this iconic role and she's talking about how the movie is dated.
The cartoon was made 85 years ago. It's extremely dated.
It needs to be redone. Snow White is not going to be saved by the prince. And she's in fact going to be a girl boss feminist who don't need no man.
She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I don't think Disney anticipated that it really has a deep and strong emotional place in their childhoods and throughout their lives. And maybe that film from 1937 did not need to be reimagined.
Okay, Rachel, they're gonna ask you a simple question. Just say you want to bring a modern twist to a classic tale, okay?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937. She's not gonna be saved by the prince.
All right, Rachel, they're gonna ask you for a clarification about what you just said. Talk about how you like the original, you just think it needs a modern update, okay?
What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Can you just hype up your co-stars?
Sure, a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah. Good.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Let me tell you my little boo thing, so I'll give a...
Comments on the video say, I love Snow White. I was so excited they cast her because of West Side Story. Now I'm terrified and sort of heartbroken.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Disney has escalated its punishment of Rachel Zegler, now canceling her live performances at upcoming events, including the highly anticipated world premiere of Snow White. What was once meant to be her moment to shine on the global stage has been completely wiped from the agenda. Disney's decision to distance itself from the mounting disaster has left Zegler sidelined in one of the most public and humiliating ways possible. Once positioned as the face of Disney's live-action reboot, Zegler's career has now taken a catastrophic turn. Not only have her self-written songs been cut from the movie, but her opportunity to redeem herself through live performances has been stripped away without warning. Insiders claim that this move wasn't just in reaction to poor test screenings, but also a response to Zegler's deteriorating relationship with Disney executives and her growing reputation as difficult to work with. By canceling her appearances at the premiere and other major promotional events, Disney is sending a clear message. Zegler is no longer the star they're banking on. Instead of promoting her as the face of Snow White, the studio is now scrambling to contain the damage by cutting her out of the spotlight entirely. Industry critics are calling this move unprecedented. Rarely does a studio so publicly turn its back on a lead actress of a $300 million production. The decision has left Zegler fuming, but, more importantly, without a platform to rebuild her image. Hollywood insiders are already speculating that this could mark the end of her rise to stardom as she watches from the sidelines while her peers take center stage. This isn't just about missing a few appearances. It's about being erased from the very project that was supposed to cement her place among Hollywood's elite. Could Disney's decision to cancel Zegler's performances be the final nail in the coffin of her career? Only time will tell, but the outlook isn't looking good for the actress.
Right remake, mostly because of what the lead actress has been saying to the press. Rachel Zegler has been described as a walking PR disaster for Disney's. We've heard her bag the classic story before, but there's more. There's always more. Let's have a listen.
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
This is starting to sound nothing like Snow White. They've just got a character named Snow White, but the story seems to be entirely different. Joining me now to discuss Disney seemingly destroying another classic is Turning Point USA contributor Erin Elmore. Erin, we've heard these comments from the actress playing Snow White, who seems to have contempt for the original story and character.
Well, it seems as there's no appreciation for the Magic Kingdom and the original magic of Disney. They're celebrating their 100th year of movie making. And instead of this woman talking about that and saying she's so proud to give her play on Snow White, she's trashing the original version, not paying any homage to history, and basically making it woke. And we all know how that goes. We've just seen several Disney movies. One, Stranger World in 2022 lost $147 million, and Elemental, their worst box office opening in 28 years.
Wow. And I just don't understand, if they do want to have these woke themes and modern stories as they see them, then write a new one. Why take a classic and basically trash it where it doesn't resemble any?
Disney's strategy of sidelining Rachel Zegler continues with the cancellation of her interviews, both live and pre-taped, marking a drastic and deliberate move to erase her from the Snow White marketing campaign. With over 10 scheduled interviews slashed, Zegler has effectively been silenced, leaving her without a voice during what was supposed to be her breakout promotional tour. This isn't just a damage control measure. It's Disney taking extreme steps to sever ties with an actress they once heralded as the face of their billion-dollar live-action franchise. The abrupt cancellation of interviews represents a very public rejection of Zegler as the film's leading lady. Industry insiders are calling this a full-blown media blackout, as Disney removes every opportunity for Zegler to reshape public perception after her behind-the-scenes controversies and failed test screenings. Sources suggest that Disney's decision stems not only from the fallout of her controversial statements, but also from growing tensions with top executives, who have become fed up with her attitude. Zegler's toxic relationships with co-stars and the production team have made her a liability, and now Disney is ensuring that her presence in the spotlight is as minimal as possible. This level of erasure is almost unheard of for a lead actress, especially in a high-profile project like Snow White. With no promotional appearances to lean on, no interviews to tell her side of the story, and no songs left in the film, Zegler's Hollywood career now hangs by a thread. The outlook for her future in the industry looks